Pressed figs of truma that fell into moist into mechatos, and he took and ate it. If its volume is that of like an egg, whether it's tummy or taho, the water is rendered tummy, and the person who eats it.
Hold on. Where are you? Where are you? No, you're in the new ones. That's the new ones. Okay, go back
That's a
to
new
Vav.
one. Sorry.
You're the Vav, yeah.
Wait a second. I'm in the wrong place. Yud Vav. Here we go. Okay. Sorry. If a flask of mekatos, such a flask of sacrificial food or tame of truma, the flask is mekat, mass of mekatos is rendered tame, whereas the flask of sacrificial food or of truma is declared taho. Both flasks are in the two hands, and both of them are rendered tame. If both flasks are wrapped in separate papers, both of them are tahor. If the flask of mekatos is wrapped in paper and the flask of truma is placed directly in his hand, both are rendered tame. If the flask of truma is wrapped in paper and the flask of mekatos is directly in his hand, both of them are tahor. The Yeshua says the flask of mekatos is rendered tame, and if they were placed on the ground and he touched them, the flask of mekatos is tame, whereas the flask of sacrificial food or truma is tahor. If he caused them to move, Reb Shua declares the tame, and the sages declare tahor. A flask containing mekatos that someone left uncovered and upon returning to fields finds covered. Is covered is unfit for mekatos use. If he left it covered and upon returning he found it uncovered, if a weasel can drink from it, or a snake, according to the words of Reb Gamil, or the two descendants of the flask at night, the mekatos are unfit for katos use. Katos is not saved from truma by a sealed cover. However, water that is not sanctified is saved from truma by means of a sealed cover. Any tumor uncertainty that is ruled tahor with regard to rumor is raised tahor in regard to katos. Any tumor uncertainty that is ruled suspended with regard to truma is spilled out with regard to katos, and the tahor items were paired onto its base on its basis, they are suspended. Screens are tahor with regard to sacrificial foods and truma and katos. But Elias says loosely connected boards are tame with regard to katos. Okay.
Hey.
Now we have.
Okay, so I just want to apologize. I haven't actually prepared because I didn't expect you to be here today.
I apologize to you too. So,
okay.
maybe consider about tomorrow, because tomorrow I don't think we're leaving till maybe 9:30, but maybe we're leaving early. I don't know. I don't have any idea yet. So,
all right, Devela shel truma, fig cakes that of truma figs. Okay, shenaflu letoch mechatas. And the food fell into the chatas water. So we see, I mean, for straight away, it's on a lesser kedusha. So we're going to see a problem over here. But now the Kohen took the figs out and ate the figs. Okay. Now the question is, im yesh ba kabetza, if it had a kabetza of volume in the figs. So a kabetza is the minimum volume for food to carry tumah. Okay. So if the figs themselves had were a beta volume, then it doesn't matter whether they were tame or tahor. Hamayim tameim, the water becomes pasul and tame. Okay, and v'ha'ochla chayiv misa, and if somebody eats it, he's chayiv misa min bidei shemayim. That is okay. The reason is the person who ate it became tamei with the mechatas that's on it, since he touched the water that was not for the tzorich of sprinkling. He automatically became tamei, and the tamei person who eats truma is chayav misa bidei shemayim. Okay. Ein ba kabetza. What happens if there was less than a kabetza of fig in there? Then the water remains tahor. Ba'ochla chayiv misa. Nonetheless, the person who eats it is chayiv misa again bidei shemayim, because even though it didn't become, even though the water itself didn't become tamei, he nonetheless handled the water without that wasn't with the tzorich sprinkling, and now he's chayiv misa bidei shemayim for eating the truma. Okay. Rabbi Yossi Omer Batahora Hamayim Tahorim. He says in such a case that if pure figs fell into the mechatas, the water remains tahor, because according to Rabbi Yossi, the the tower for truma is not metamei the mechatas, but the halacha does not follow Rabbi Yossi in this case. Atar lechatas shehichnis rosha beruba lesoch mechatas nitma, and somebody who had purified himself for the mechatas, and he was like he was ready, and so him touching the water is not going to make him tame, except if he puts his head and the majority of his body into that water. He decides he wants to go for a swim, okay? Then he does become tame. Why does he become tame? Because the Chachamim made a gezerah of tuma on anyone who puts the majority of his body into drawn water, and of course, mechatas is drawn water. Okay, so therefore, since he became tame. He became tame because so he becomes tame because of the gezerah of Mayim Shovim. So now he goes back and is matame the mechatas as well. Okay, so it doesn't sound like a good idea, and in fact, it is not a good idea. Okay. Kol ha'ta'un bias mayim midivrei Torah matame es hakodesh. So anyone who's required to go to mikveh. From any one of the avos hatuma that he needs to go, right? He needs to go to mikvah min Torah. He's metame kodesh and truma and chulin and maser, and he's asked to come into the Beis HaMikdash. Okay, so we've just listed all the things that are somebody who is tame midoraisa. Okay, just to repeat those categories: kodesh, truma, chulin. Even chulin he makes tame, although it's that's us. We're allowed to be matame chulin. Okay, and maaser, and he's asked to come into the mikdash. La'achar biaso, after he's been to mikveh, okay, he's now at Tvul Yom, matame es hakodesh. He still will be matame kodesh, and he's posel the truma, jiver Rabbi Meir. V'chachamim omrim posel the kodesh uba truma. No, he doesn't. He's not matame the kodesh. He is just posel it. Okay, because he's still at Tvul Yom and truma. But the Tvul Yom is allowed to eat chulin and maser. V'imba el hamikdash, and if he came into the mikdash, bein lifnei biaso, bein la'achar biaso chayav. So if he came into the mikdash, whether he's fully tamei or whether he's a Tvul Yom, he's still chayav, because a Tvul Yom is not allowed into the azara. Okay, so it's the same. So it's the same thing. He's chayav chatas the same whether he's fully tamei or whether he's a Tvul Yom. Okay, now contrast Mishna Hey kolatan bias mayim divrei sofrim. Okay, so here's somebody who became tamei midrabanan. For example, somebody who ate tamei foods or who drank tamei liquids. Right, he is tamei but only midrabanan. Okay, but tamei is hakodesh or posel is a truma. So he is matame kodesh, and he passes truma. Okay, he's not matame truma. The previous one was matame the truma. Okay, umutar b'chulin uv'maser divrei Rabbi Meir. So this is Rabbi Meir's opinion. He says he's allowed to eat chulin, he's allowed to eat maser. However, chachamim osrim b'maser. He said no. Even though he's only tamei midrabanan, he is still aser to eat maser. We're talking about maser sheni over here.
Right.
Okay. And as soon as he's been to mikveh, even as a Tvul Yom, he is mutar in all of these things. And if he walked into the mikdash while he was tamei d'Rabbanan, he is pater from a korban. He is pater from a chatas because it's only an isur d'Rabbanan, and you don't bring a chatas on an isur d'Rabbanan.
It's only the night that he has to go.
It's already what?
If there's immersion, there's only his night.
No, we're talking about. What do you mean? What I'm not following. What are you saying is at night?
He has to go to mikveh at night.
No, he goes to all day.
Right during the day. Okay, all right. Okay.
I mean, you can go to mikveh by night, but in general, it's a better idea to go in the morning or during the day at some point, because then Harev Shimsho, then the sun will set on that day and immediately become tahor. If you wait until nighttime, then you still got to wait until the next nightfall.
Next day. Okay. All right. Okay.
Right, back to Parah Ches Hey.
Ches Hey. Okay. Okay. All derivatives of truma do not contaminate utensils, but they do contaminate liquids. If a liquid contracts truma, it contaminates the utensils. Thus, this one says that which contaminates truma to you cannot contaminate me, yet you contaminate me. Earthenware vessel cannot contaminate another earthenware vessel, but it does contaminate liquids. If a liquid contracts truma, it contaminates it. Thus, this one says that which contaminates you cannot contaminate me, yet you can contaminate me. Anything that renders truma unfit contaminates liquids to be a beginning level of truma, with the capacity to contaminate one and render unfit one, except for a tevel yom. Thus, this one says that which you contaminates you cannot contaminate me, yet you can contaminate me. Okay. All right. Just gonna close the door over here. That's okay. Oh.
Yes,
Did you see the fog this morning on the mountains?
I ran through it. It was beautiful.
Ran through it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Nagayim. Yud Aleph Tess. When thread is rolled into one skin to another, or from one spool to another, or from the upper beam to, is that right?
Yeah.
Yud Aleph Tess, right. The upper beam to the lower beam, or when two sides of a shirt that are attached by a single thread or a neger appears on one side, the second side is tahor. If a neger appears on the weft thread when it is inside the shed, in the sole of the loom, or in a warp ready for weaving, they become tameh with negayim immediately. Rav Shimon says only if they if the warp is close together does it become tameh. If the neger appears on the warp that is ready for weaving, the woven part is tahor. If it appears on the woven part, the warp that is ready for weaving is tahor. If it appears on a sheet, the fringes must be burnt, and if it appears on the fringes, the sheet is tahor. A neger on a shirt does not make its trim tameh, even if they are red wool. Anything susceptible to becoming tameh from a corpse, even if it's not susceptible to tumah of midrash, becomes tameh from negayim, such as the sale of a ship, a curtain, a decorated part of a hairnet, covers of scrolls, and a string belt or straps of a shoe or a sandal that are wide of the grist. All these can become tameh from negayim. The sagos on which a neger appeared, Rabbi Elias ben Yaakov says it is tameh only when the neger appears on both the woven material and the tuff. A flask and a sack are examined as they usually are, and a neger can spread from inside out or from outside in. If a combined garment, that's it.
Yeah. Caleb.
Okay. Daled Yud Gimel. So there are three sheets. A sheet that is designed for lying on is susceptible to becoming tameh with midrash tumah. A sheet that is designed for use as a curtain is susceptible to becoming tameh with corpse tumah, and a sheet of pictures is tahor from any form of tumah. There are three towels: a towel for hands that is susceptible to becoming tameh with midrash tumah, a towel used for scrolls is susceptible to becoming tameh with corpse tumah, and one used for shrouds and for the liars and the Levites is tahor from any form of tumah. There are three gauntlets. The gauntlet of hunters of animals and birds is susceptible to becoming tameh with midrash tumah. The gauntlet used for locusts is susceptible to becoming tameh with corpse tumah, and the gauntlet of summer fruit dryers is tahor from any form of tumah. Okay. And we have Zvacham Yud Aleph Ches. If one cooked it in sacred and non-sacred, if one cooked it in sacred and non-sacred meat, or the meat of most holy offerings and of offerings of lesser holiness, if there is enough of them to impart flavor, the less stringent ones must be eaten in the manner of the more stringent ones. And they do not require purging and rinsing, nor do they disqualify from contact. If a wafer comes in contact with another wafer or a slice of meat with another slice, neither the entire wafer nor the entire slice is forbidden. Only the place which is absorbed is rendered forbidden. A tevel yom and one who lacks anointment do not claim a share in the offerings to eat at night. An onan may touch, but he may not offer, and he does not claim a share to eat that night. Kohanim who are blemished, both those with permanent blemishes and those with only passing blemishes, claim a share and eat, but they may not offer. Whoever is not fit to perform the service does not share in the offering. Meat, and whoever has a share in the meat has no share in the hides. Even one who was tameh at the time of the blood was thrown, and tahor at the time they ate, the fats were burnt, does not claim a share in the meat. As it is said, the one from among the sons of Aaron who offers the blood of the shalom offering and the thyroid thigh shall be his gift portion. Okay. One more. Whenever the altar does not acquire the right to the meat, the Kohanim do not acquire the right to the hide, as it is said, the Kohen who offers a person's olah offering, and olah offering which has been credited to a person, and olah offering which is slaughtered from a designation other than its own, and even that is not credited to its owner, its hide belongs to the Kohanim. But the olah offering and of a man and the olah offering of a woman, the hides belong to the Kohanim.
Okay.
And the Dharm. The Dharm, nice base. Declarations: Korban, I shall not eat of yours. Korban, I shall eat of yours, and not a korban. What shall I eat of? What shall I not eat of yours? Are not binding. Shavua, I shall not eat of yours. Shavua, if I shall eat of yours, and no shavua, but what I do not eat are binding. This is an instance in which oaths are more stringent than a dharm. What is an instance in which a dharm are more stringent than others? Than oaths? He said, Konam, this sukkah that I'm constructing, the lulav that I am taking, the tefillin that I am wearing, and the dharm. These declarations are binding as oath, and they are not binding as one may not sweat to transgress the commandments. There is a neder within a neder, and there is not an oath within an oath. How? If he said, I am a Nazirite, and if I eat, I am a Nazirite if I eat, and he eats, he's bound by each declaration. Shavua that I shall not eat, Shavua that I shall not eat, and he ate, he is liable for only one. And in the German, the Dharm are treated stringently and their interpretation leniently. How? He said, it is to me like salted meat or wine libations. If he vowed of heaven, it is binding. If he vowed of idols, it is not binding. If it is determinate, it is binding. It is to me like cherem. And if he meant a cherem to the temple, it is binding. But if he meant a cherem of Kohanim, it is not binding. If it is determinate, it is binding. If one said, it is to me like a tithe, and he vowed like the animal tithe, it is binding. If the vow of the granary is not binding, and if it's determinate, it is binding. It is to me like truma. If he vowed concerning the withdrawal from the chamber, it is binding, and if he vowed concerning the granary, it is not binding. If it is indeterminate, the neder is binding, and these are the words of Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says, indeterminate truma is in Judea it is forbidden. In Galil it is permitted because people in Galil are not familiar with the withdrawals of the chamber. Indeterminate karamim. No, Haramim, in Judea they are permissible, but in Galil they are binding, because the people of Galil are not familiar with Haram of Kohanim. Okay. Last we have
Mastros.
Mishna. Ant holes which stayed a whole night near a pile which was liable are liable to
Actually, the next one. Go to the next one. It's ches.
Oh, I'm sorry. Balbachi garlic, onions, Sicilian beans, and Egyptian lentils. It says also kokasia. Rabbi Yossi says also wild beans are exempt from mitzvahs and may be brought from anyone in the seventh year. The high seed pods of the urim, the seeds of leek, seeds of onions, seeds of turnips and radishes, and other seeds of grass produce which are not served as food are exempt from mitzvahs and may be brought from anyone in the seventh year. And though they were grown from truma stock, they may not be eaten. Okay, I do have another one because we didn't mention.
Mastros. Okay, so we're doing Master Sheni today.
Okay, so I can find it fast.
Okay. Go for it.
Find it. Ma'aser Sheni may not be sold nor pledged nor bartered, nor may be used as a weight. And one should not say to his fellow in Yerushalayim, here is wine, give me oil. So also with any other produce, but they may give it to another as a free gift. Ma'aser of cattle when unblemished may not be sold alive, and when blemished, neither alive nor slaughtered, nor may one betroth a woman with it. The first thing when blemished may be sold alive, and when blemished, both alive and slaughtered, and one may betroth a woman with it. And Ma'aser Sheni may not be redeemed with an asmon or with a coin which is not current or with money that is not at one's disposal.
Okay. And that's it. All right.
And tomorrow we're off tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
So,
have a wonderful trip.
Thank you very much. I'll see you Sunday. Thank you. Bye.